Good afternoon, Sharon. Okay, now I think today it will be successful. Let's just wait for the others to turn up, and then I'll start at exactly 2. Good afternoon, everybody. Please type your registration number and name if you can hear me. And then in 5 minutes, we shall be starting. Okay, let us begin. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm using a webinar. That means I will not be able to get feedback from you other than using the chat or the question and answer option. And of course, that gives us a chance to study without interruptions. First of all, I want to apologize for the previous two meetings that did not take off. Reason being that the network or the wireless at Islis is unstable, and all along I was trying to use my phone to communicate with the laptop, which I wasn't succeeding. But now it can work. So hopefully when the network gets off, then I'll switch back to my phone. Secondly, we missed for the day and evening. And now I think from the feedback I got, we shall combine the lectures using the daytime. For today, I first looked at the timetable. For the day class, I know they are free between now and 3, and later they will have another lecture. So today's lecture will be really short. So what you see on your screen is the course outline for second semester. And if you can see my screen, type in the chat "seen," and then I'll proceed. Okay. It means we are good to go. I'll now go through the course outline such that we know what to expect this semester. So course description. This course will introduce you to the concepts related to bibliographic description of documents using AACR 2, and those are the Anglo-American cataloging rules, second edition, which has been revised many times. So we shall be getting those revisions as we go along. The course objectives: to introduce students to basic concepts and the role of cataloging in information work. The learning outcomes: at the end of the course, the student should be able to catalog books by single and joint authors. I think I need to emphasize this. From this learning outcome, you remember in the first semester we handled single author, 2 authors, and then we stopped at 3. The 2 and 3 authors are joint authors. And the idea behind reviewing the online exam was to get you back on track before we had 4 authors. But either way, that will come as we move on. So for single, 2 and 3, we already done. And now we are moving to 4. And that means we cannot do away with what we learned in first semester. This is cataloging or document cataloging 2, which builds on document cataloging 1. Then we shall catalog editorial publications. We shall notice that when we start cataloging 4 authors and editorial publications, the number of things which change. And that is why 4 authors were left out, and I opted to start with those this semester. And then another major component is to catalog then book materials. Semester 1, it was book materials. Now we shall endeavor to catalog non-book materials, and then the catalog based on all forms of library materials and involving all types of entries such as author, title, subject catalog, dictionary catalog. We have used subject heading lists, the SEARs. I'm not sure whether we shall have access to Library of Congress subject lists, but if we do, we shall look at them. Filing of catalog cards, standards in cataloging, the MARC, the classified catalogs, online cataloging. We shall do this practically. I believe some of you where you are working now, you have used CORE, that is a library software for online cataloging. And then we shall also perform copy and original cataloging using CORE. So basically that is what we shall be trying to achieve. The course content, this screen is not visible, so we shall get this from the Word document. You will allow me move to the course outline in Word form. Then you'll be able to see this, and then we proceed. I'm moving back to share my screen, and this time I'm sharing the course outline in a Word. Wow, and this is still not what we want. I'll pick it again. and then I share. So I'm sharing the words, and I will keep on checking the chat to see if you have any queries. So the content is what took me to the word document. Week 1, which is this week, we are supposed to look at the course outline and then a review of semester 1 exam. And whereas some of you think that you are done with semester 1, what you did in that exam will assist us move to week 2. So at the end of this week, we should be able to catalog single and joint author publications. And this is what we do when we prepare entries under what we call hanging indention. That is something totally new, and I'll need your attention when we are doing this. Why? We are doing it online. We don't have that opportunity of doing it on a whiteboard, so we need to pay attention. In week 2, we shall handle still books, 4 or more than 4 authors, and this shouldn't take us the whole week, because how we handle 4 or more authors is similar to how we handle editorial publications. Week 3, we shall go back to area O, content form and media type area. I'll need to emphasize how we handle non-book materials when it comes to area O. Then week 4, I'll go through all the areas. Having looked at area O, we shall go to area 1, title and statement of responsibility, looking at all the punctuations in detail. Area 2, that is edition area. And then it will be in week 5. I believe by then you will be back from the lockdown in terms of preparing mentally for academics. And it is in week 5, having had the opportunity to catalog 4 or more than 4 author publications, we shall use those publications to start online cataloging. So we shall catalog books online using Core. We shall perform what we call a Z39.5 search, and then we shall also copy catalog. Copy cataloging means you find a library which has already cataloged the book you want to catalog, and you just copy those details and import into your library catalog. So that is what we refer to as copy cataloging. Week 6, area 3, which we have never looked at, and this now defines what we call non-book materials. It is non-book materials which have area 3. Area 3, we refer to it as material or type of publication specific details area. And for area 3, those materials, we shall start with cartographic materials in week 7, where we shall catalog maps and globes. If all is okay, test 1 will be done. The percentage, tentatively, it is 30%, but from experience, it is better to distribute these marks in more assignments or group works. So this test taking 30% we shall decide along the way. Week 8 serial publications or journals will be handled. Mixed responsibility in week 9. Week 10, modification of texts. And then that will move to illustrated texts, revision of texts, and then test 2, which was programmed to be in groups. I'm thinking by the 12th week, there will be no lockdown, no curfew, maybe, and the group work will be done face-to-face. Doing group work online is also possible. If we can't meet face-to-face, we shall do that utilizing Google Docs. Week 13, headings for corporate bodies, which will go to week 14. And the last week, this is the 15th week, where we are supposed to practice online cataloging using that software called Core. So that is what I have in store for you. But the challenge is, and I'm here to confirm this, is this semester 15 weeks? I'm not yet sure of that. So when we are sure of that, then we'll be confident that all this will fit in. Having looked at the content, I'll stop this word share and go back to the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint presentation will show other learning and teaching patterns. The teaching and learning will be through lectures. I'm not sure whether guest lectures will be possible. Ideally, we would visit the library. There are certain things we can only learn if we go to the library and see them. In the video assignments, I believe when you did the exam, you saw how that assignment tool was utilized. So these individual assignments will be placed in Mwere. So please ensure that your account is active. And now I need to communicate to you that the enrollment key is the course code. Dennis Mulindwa, I'm communicating this the second time. I'd already communicated in the group. And when you posted that you wanted the enrollment key, I wanted you to go to the group posts and get it from there. But for the benefit of all of you, the enrollment key in small or lowercase letters, it is BLS 2212. Group assignments, we shall have those also. And most of you are safer when you work in groups. So please ensure that you don't miss group assignments. The next slide shows the assessment methods. Coursework, the all component totals to 30. And now I try to break it down, unlike previously in the content slide. In the video online quiz, you are familiar with quizzes. I need to report that my exam, before we were instructed to turn it into an online exam, it had section A, which was objectives. And these objectives were generated using that quiz tool in Mwere. So the moment they told us to set an exam, which can be even taken home, that section changed, and you got that single question, which was both theoretical and practical. Unfortunately, the answers I saw on that day were not right, but I'll start assessing, I think, next week, and then you'll have clear feedback. PEMO has communicated in the chat that the semester looks to be like it will be for 13 weeks. Either way, even if they make it 10 weeks, as long as we are studying online, it is easy to catch up and fix content from one portion to another. Then the class attendance, which I'm also calling Zoom, is one of the methods through which I'll get your attendance. You have noticed today, I'm requesting you to type your name and registration number. That is one way of capturing the attendance, participation, and the Mwere visibility. If you are participating, it is easy to note from Mwere. And I think for the first time, this attendance needs to be awarded. Why? There's data, there's the patience, the way we organize online classes. You have to schedule the meeting or the class, and then the network must be good. So far, I've failed holding classes when I'm at home, and I need to really see that I'm able to do that at home. Otherwise, if I decide to do it in Makerere and I have lectures which are in the evening, it means I have to keep support staff from 7 maybe up to 8. And then of course there's curfew, then it becomes difficult. Then I would rather do that at home. And if people are able to attend those classes, they need to get marks for that. And that is the 5%. Then one test, 10%, one group work, 10%. That is 20 plus this 10. That would make the 10, rather the 30%. I think this would be a fair way of distributing the coursework marks. If you think otherwise, you can type in the chat. But I think this is okay. I'm yet to compute your marks, but at least you saw the coursework marks for last semester, and I have not received any complaints. So when I'm done with marking the exam, I'll add together and we shall be good to go. Final exam, 70%. And lastly, we have policies we follow. Important dates to note: round 1 test, 6th week. And Fiona raised her hand, but I think Fiona, you'll have to type in the chat and then respond. Godfrey already says the distribution of the marks is fair. So Fiona, if you have a question, type it in the chat and then I'll respond. We have important dates to note. It is in the 6th week. We shall have our tests. The online assignments will be progressive. So whenever you see an assignment there, please attempt it. Remember last semester I had an assignment on alphabetical class catalog. Those who attempted it, I think, had a walkover for section A of the exam. Group test in the 9th week. Then there is policy on coursework. All coursework should be submitted on Mwere before the deadline. Those are things I will not be repeating. It will be assumed you already know. Then university policy on plagiarism will strongly be implemented. I need to emphasize this. The online exam was open. Never in the history of Makerere University exams would you attempt an exam meant for 3 hours, then you do it in 8 hours or 6. The exam you did was set to be done for 3 hours, and I think they gave you from 9 to 4, more than 5 hours. What that means, there is a very high possibility that people plagiarized. And that is one of the things we shall be looking out for as we assess. So please, if it happened last semester, make sure it doesn't happen. Then examination policy, the rules and regulations governing exams will continue to apply. They were applying when it was either hard copy or face-to-face. The same rules will apply, of course, with the modifications here and there because of the teaching methodology adopted. So briefly, those are the policies, and then the references, more or less the same like the ones we had last semester. You just go to those books in case you want to do further research or individual study, especially number 2, the rules. Whatever we do is all based on the rules. So briefly, that is the course outline, and I will stop the share, go to the chat. Mirembe says the enrollment key isn't working. I need someone to confirm who has enrolled. If there is anyone who has enrolled already, you just type 1 in the chat, then that will confirm Faith is doing something wrongly. So the enrollment key works. There is no space. Let me type it for you. BLS2212. That is the enrollment key. No space, no capital letters. So it works. Fiona, I don't see your question, or you mistakenly put up your hand. How about us who did the online test? The second one was the question. In case you did an online test and I have not considered it in computing your marks, you let me know using my email. It is not like I would easily recall. There are some of your colleagues who did a retake test. They cataloged some books. Those books are in the courses library. I need to access them before I can assess their scripts. So such issues, you have to keep on reminding me. Numbers, I don't know whether you have your marks, but if you keep quiet, I believe maybe you got them. So I'll proceed. So that was the course outline and the ATEMO message confirms that the enrollment works very well. I think that is good to hear. If the enrollment key works, then it means as of today, everybody should be enrolled. And remember your participation online, there's 5 marks there. On the assignments that will be put on how often you access the course, all that will be catered for. So I now move to today's lecture. I hope everybody is set in terms of data. Yeah, you know, now the terminologies we use have also changed. So for you to move on well, it means you have access to data. I will continue with today's lecture by sharing my screen. I hope it responds. I have screens which I need to put off. It is still sharing something else, so I'll stop, go back again. Okay, yeah, I had a file which was preventing me from sharing what I wanted to share. I'm sharing a screen which is failing to show, but I'll keep on trying. Okay, it eventually shows. I'll shift to the chat to confirm. Can you, if you can see my screen, joint author, 2 authors, then you type 2, and then we proceed. If you can see my screen, I've shared, okay, fine. So we can now move to show or to look at the slides. I still, okay. Joint author, 2 authors. By the time I'm done with these slides, everybody should be on board on what we learned last semester. When we have 2 authors, the main entry goes under the author given first. If the first author is Besigye Chifefe and the second author is Robert Chagulanyi, then it means the main entry will go under Chifefe, Besigye. In the statement of responsibility, the two authors are transcribed as given on the title page. In other words, when it comes to the body of the entry, after recording the title of the document, you apply the /. Then the two authors are supposed to be transcribed. Transcribing is recording. You record those two authors exactly the way their names appear on the title page. Lastly, in the tracing area, an added entry will be transcribed for the second author. In other words, after recording the subject, where we normally use a 1, Arabic 1, for instance, if the subject is chemistry, then the Roman, which is in capital, will be for the second author, starting with the surname. So that is what we do in the tracing area for two authors. Then when we have three authors, still the main entry goes under the first given author. Whoever is listed first on the title page will get the main entry heading, and normally we'll start with the surname. So the surname of whoever is appearing first will take the heading, and then the other name will come next after comma. In the statement of responsibility, the three authors are transcribed as given on the title page. In the tracing area, added entries will be transcribed for the second and third author. In other words, in the tracing area, we shall make a provision to make added entries for the second and third author. So that is how we handle publications with three authors. Next is 4. I'll stop the share. I'm getting feedback that my screen sharing is paused, and go to the chat. Sir, the screen, check out your network and phone setting. Okay, no, it was my screen which had paused. The screen, we can't see the screen. Okay, I'll share my screen again. Share screen. And I'll start from there. Two authors, the main entry goes under the first given author. In the statement of responsibility, the two authors are transcribed as given on the title page. And in the tracing area, an added entry will be transcribed for the second author. For three authors, the main entry goes under the first given author. That is when we have 3. The first one takes the main entry. Of course, giving the surname first. However, in the statement of responsibility, the 3 authors are transcribed as given on the title page. And as we record those 3 authors, the punctuation device we use is a comma. You give the first author, apply a comma. Second author, comma, before the third one. In the tracing area, added entries are also provided for the second and third author. The task now comes to 4 or more authors. And ideally, this is where second semester starts. And I need maximum attention when we deal with the 4 authors. To start with, the main entry goes under the title of the document. When we have 4 or more authors, now when we are preparing the main entry, it goes under the title of the book or the publication or the document. And this, it diverts from what we learned earlier. How does it look like? In the second bullet, when the main entry goes under the title, the main entry is prepared under hanging indention. It is like it is hanging when we shall see it visually. So as of now, I cannot demonstrate hanging indention until when I move to the entry and allow me to fast forward from this slide. That is the book I'm using. We shall see it in detail. You can see the authors. We have Daniel L. Slotnick, Ivan M. Butterfield, those are 2. Ernest S. Coratonio, 3. Daniel J. Kopetsky, and Joan Slotnick. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a book written by 5 authors. And then please, librarians, stop writing in the books like this. That is very irresponsible of those who did it. So this is the title page of the book I want to use to demonstrate. It is a 2nd edition book, but I want to go to the entry to show you how does hanging indention look like, and I'm there. I hope everybody is looking at the screen I'm sharing. Because this was a book by 4 authors, in fact, there were 5. The main entry is put under the title. This is where the title starts from. Area O now starts the entry. It becomes, or it is at the top before we record the title. And this C is from the first indention. When we write the title on that first line, and there's no more space here, when we go to the next line, we start from the 2nd indention. And this is what we refer to as hanging indention. You can see this one is protruding there, but when we come on the next line, it is starting from the 2nd indention. So this, if I was putting a ruler, you will see that D, where the T is, the X, all these are on the 2nd indention, whereas this C and O are on the first. They are hanging out. That is what we refer to as hanging indention. So I'll go back to the slide to demonstrate or to read again. The main entry goes under the title of the document when we have 4 or more authors. And when that happens, the main entry is prepared under hanging indention. I'll go back to the entry which I've already prepared to show you the title and then the hanging indention, how the title is hanging. I will scroll or fast forward. This is the book. I think this is now the back cover. You can see the price there. The price, normally we don't see it on documents, but for this, it is visible, it is there. I will scroll. Hey, this is the top cover. Computer and applications. And then this is the back cover. How did I determine that? I see the standard book number there. I continue. This is the title page with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 authors. I continue. This is the verso page. You can see the copyright year 1989. Then there's another one, 1986. I continue. Table of contents. Still acknowledgement page. And this is from the Sears list. You already know how I gave everybody a Sears list in the exam. That is the beauty of online learning. Each one has their copy. So for this particular publication, I also put an extract of the Sears list to assist in assigning a subject heading. I move to the entry. And as I move to the entry, I check the chart. And good, there is no query there. I said I want to go to the entry to show you the title. The title is here. It has taken the main entry heading because there were more than 4 authors. So computers and applications is the title proper. An introduction to data processing is other title. When there's no more space on the first line, this word data starts from the second indention. Just like area O, the word text started from second indention. And therefore, this, the one moving the pointer, this is what we refer to as hanging. This is hanging indention. And at that point, I want to see if we have questions. If you have any question, type in the chat. Attendance is good, 53. I've managed, in fact, 54. I've managed to log in. You can have the data and then the network fails you, 55. Any questions? Shakira, is the screen still the problem? If you can see my screen, just type continue. If there are no questions, type continue. If there is a question, type the question. If online learning is a problem, just type dead here. If it is not, just type continue. People don't want us to follow the policies. When things are not working out, the university has already put in place options on what you can do. You can withdraw, and when you withdraw, that is what we call a dead year or dead semester. But when there is a dead semester, it means that all year is dead. So please, when I use such terminologies, it is not that I don't have children, but those are terminologies used in a university setting. Unlike in high school where they say you repeat, for us, you can withdraw because of finances, because of data, because of lack of a laptop. And when you do that, we call it a dead year. But you have to make it official, or you write, and then your withdrawal is accepted, and then we call it a dead year. So get reader, that is good. It means you are reading the slide. What does et al mean? That is the third bullet. Having recorded the title of the document. What comes next is the statement of responsibility. And as we record the statement of responsibility, we record only one author, the one who was given first on the title page. The first given author is transcribed or is recorded, and the rest are omitted using those 3 dots, which means that is the mark of omission, and then the word et al. Et al means and the others. Those who speak French, you can confirm this. Is it French, et al? So et al means and others. And lastly, in the tracing area, it is only the first author that will be given an added entry. So let us check this out. If this is the book, title page as the first author as Daniel A. Slotnick. So it is only Daniel L. Slotnick who will be recorded in the statement of responsibility. And then these other ones will be omitted. Let us confirm. So statement of responsibility starts here. You notice the spaces are clear. Space, / space, Daniel L. Slotnick. I've written this name exactly the way it was written on the title page. I applied the 3 dots and then et al. So the 3 dots, that is the omission mark. It means you have omitted something. And then et al means and others. So now that is how we record a publication with 4 or more authors. We record the first author, and then the rest are omitted. I using that punctuation device. I'll first stop the share and see if you recall that face. Some of you might be thinking you are speaking to a ghost. I survived, I'm alive, and I'm in Isilis conducting the lecture. So in case you had doubts whether I'm still alive, I am. And I see in the chat, Senkungu, is the word text in the reading section? Yes, indeed it is in the reading section, but starting from second indention. Shakira, what if the book has only 4 authors? Do we still use et al? True, it is for 4 or more. So that et al means and others. When we have 4 or more, then we shall use et al after the 3 dots. And then Molindwa, seriously, sir, I'm kindly requesting if you can take us back on how to use the Sears list, because you find people cataloging one book but have different subject entries. Indeed, we are going to assign subjects using the Sears. So the Sears will be used. And good enough, now we shall all be looking at the same page of the Sears list. And then we shall see how we determine the subject. Gloria, is it a must to count the letters when you need to introduce the hanging indention? I think that makes sense. You will notice in the entry I've used, there are more than 1 letter. There is more than 1 letter hanging. Maybe that was done for emphasis, but normally it will be 1 letter hanging out. Yeah, 1 letter is on the second indention, another letter is on the first indention. So we shall see I'll go back to the entry and see how best we can fix that. I also see if I can annotate in that screen. So let me share my screen again and try to answer some of those things using the entry. What if the book has only 4 authors? Do we still use et al? Yes, we shall. We shall use et al. Dennis, about subject entries, is it a must have only one subject? Because different people have different views on subject entries. For that question, I'll give this example as a title. Cats and Dogs is the title of the book. Dennis, what are the possible subjects for that book? Type it in the chat for everybody to see. When you go to the Sears, what are the likely subjects you'll get for that book? So I want Dennis, there is Warusimbi, there is Nakaga. Starting from cats, when you assign cats, you have already left out dogs. So it means you have also to give another subject, which is dogs. Then Warusimbi and Gloria and Martha. Then there is, okay, let us start with those who have given animals. When you give the subject to be animals, that is too broad. It is even putting lions there. Yeah, lions, which are wild, the sheep, which are domestic, are all animals. So that is so broad. So someone who wants a book on dogs will take a lot of time getting what they want. Then Gloria, domestic animals, it will put sheep, goats, cows there. So that is not appropriate. So the best, Akero has mentioned the carnivores, and then Flavia, pets. The best is to have cats as one subject, and then the second subject as dogs. But when we go to the Sears list, there is no subject called the cats. That one we shall confirm. There is another term that is used for such animals in that species. So I'll share my screen one more time and see how far we can go on that entry. I want to write in this entry. This is a tool I want to use to annotate. I want to see if it works. Is it drawing? No. Where is the one I need? Spotlight, text, draw. And what I want to draw? A line. So I'm demonstrating where the hanging indention is. So this, from letter C up to there. Then from there, I draw like this. I stop, then I go. So the whole of this, that is what we refer to as the hanging indention. I hope people can see. I want to remove the annotate thing, and then I show the slide. Oh, now it is spoiled. I drew those things before playing the slides, but I can do it again. I don't mind about this. So I'm annotating, I'll click there, and I'm drawing using this. So the hanging bit I go there. That is the first line I'm demonstrating to you. Hanging indention, now it is hanging. And I did the art in O level, but I failed it. This is the hanging indention. And for Gloria, we are saying, do we count? Ideally, you see, I put 2 letters to demonstrate the hanging. But where T is, let me remove that tool. This T is on the second indentation and D is on the second indentation, but the C should ideally be on the first indentation. So that is the hanging indention. I hope that makes more sense now. And please, I keep on going back to the chart. Cats are not dogs, so subject can't be cats. Melindwa, I will respond to that. And I hope everybody is paying attention. When I assign the subject cats, that is one subject. It means I'll have to assign another subject, which is dogs, to cater for dogs. So a book can have 2 subjects, just like cats and dogs. And there is another element. A book can be interdisciplinary. You can have a book which covers 2 disciplines. A discipline is bigger than a subject, but we shall be seeing this in detail. And then, sir, is the hanging indention a new aspect in cataloging? Because last semester you are not talking about it. Is there any difference now on the entries we are doing now? Lindwa and others, this is document cataloging 2. Last semester we were doing cataloging or document cataloging 1. Last semester we were doing the simple things. And now this semester, process by process, we are looking at the complex stuff. And that is why in my earlier communications, I did mention, of course it never took off, that we needed to review the online exam which covered semester 1 work before introducing now hanging indention. So your question, but last semester you did not even talk about it. It was because it wasn't for first semester. And then Daniel, is T of the word text on the first or second indentation? Is referring to this. This T is on the second indentation. The D is on the second indentation. The space before the dot is on the second indentation. That T second indentation, that X second indentation. I hope you're enjoying this online learning. So here text appears above the title, Rachel, yes. Because this is area O. Then the title is in area 1. So area O comes before area 1. Why do we call it the hanging indentation? That is a question from Martha. It is hanging. Don't you see that it is protruding? It is away from this word data, from that line, it is protruding. So it is hanging. I don't know how best I can explain that other than that. And I think I'm done with those interesting questions. And then still, Daniel, why is P on first indentation? Which P? Oh, down here. Okay, hanging indentation stops there. Hanging indentation stops in that area where we physically describe a document. When we have more stuff on this line, it will start from first indention. But we shall be seeing more of that. Another one. How come, this is Alifa, how come class number is 004 com and not 004 slow? This com, C-O-M, comes from the first 3 letters of the heading. The heading went under the title. The title is computers. So C-O-M comes from what has taken the heading. I hope Alifa have properly answered you. Slotnik did not take the heading there. Therefore, Slotnik cannot be the book number. So is the hanging indention the same as the first indention? No. Mirembe, hanging indention starts from the first indention, but it's not the same. And Adong is still lost. And when Adong is lost, it means I'll have to pause. I'll stop the share. Today's lecture was supposed to be for 1 hour. The 1 hour is done. I'll just answer a few of these questions. I'm still lost. I'll find you, Gloria. This is the first lecture in the semester. And we shall be having more of this. This is the first example. And we have not really looked at it process by process or step by step. Remember, we go to the title page, the versal page, and then we physically examine the book, but we are starting with the basics. So when we meet next, I'll go through the same publication to explain your queries. I see pardon the class number, its allocation. I don't also still get what you mean by its allocation. The book was classified and that is why it has 004. But the book has its authors. Shakira, that statement is incomplete and even it starts in the middle. So your statement is not easy to follow. Why from Waru? Why has the title taken over the heading and not the author? A simple answer is the book was written by 4 or more authors, in this case 5 authors. So according to the rules, then the title takes the main entry heading. And then surely we need more explanation on this, still confused. We have just begun and we shall not leave anybody out. I'll start with this. And by the way, that explains why this was reserved for second semester. Introducing it last semester would have caused more chaos. Seriously about the call number, you said we give the first 3 digits of surname. Now you have changed your words. I have not changed my words. If the main entry goes under a personal name, then the first 3 letters of the surname are used to make the book number. But this is a title which has taken the heading. So it is the first 3 letters of the title. So a title of a book cannot be a surname. I have not changed anything. Pardon the class number, it's allocation. Allocation, what do you mean by allocation? Oh, now you are talking about call number. Call number is composed of a class number and a book number. So this particular book number is from the title. And then I can put it out. Thank you, sir. At least I have understood. At least oh. I don't know how I can respond to that. I can put it a fortunate. Mary is saying online learning is better. That is how I've interpreted at least. Gertrude, I still don't get how this text class number and others are arranged. Gertrude, you are not very far. We shall talk face to face. For the benefit of the rest, you ask this again. And now goes Martha. Does the editorial work also go under title entry? I think you have started reading it. Indeed, it does. Morinda, so when a book is written by more than 2 authors, we use the title entries. The answer is no. I did not mention 2 authors. I said 4 or more. When we have 2 authors, we do it differently, and that is where we started from. Enrollment key for the course, please, Marcelo Ronnie. The enrollment key is the course code in lowercase characters without any space. Dickney, sir, the brackets, which one is appropriate? Now where? I can see brackets for which position. Please use the brackets I've used wherever I've used them. Is it in the et al? Where exactly? I'm at the verge of understanding now. Gloria, I hope that network in Lira is working now. And I thought the 3-letter works when the book was edited. No, we have not handled editorial publications, but that is going to be part of our business this semester. And I also need to emphasize to you that everything we are supposed to study in this semester was prepared a long time ago. It is a matter of uploading, editing, updating. So even if we decided to study in 1 week, everything, it is already there. So for me, I'm not worried whether this network behaves or misbehaves. The moment it works, the content is there. And lastly, Dennis, your question will be the last one. You say, seriously, we need a break because now what you are telling us is... Dennis, I've also started being, you call it cocky. If you need a break, Dennis, let me give it to you. I'll type it, and that will be the end of the lecture. Molindo, I'm saying request for a break, and that break, they call it what I have typed. It is recognized. So Daniel, with that smile, I end today's lecture. We shall meet. If agreed, we can even arrange and we meet tomorrow. But if it is not possible, let us follow the day timetable. All lectures cataloging from the feedback I got. The evening students are okay with it. We can study during the day. Have a very nice weekend. Thank you for tuning in to cataloging television. So that is the end of today.